In the ancient time, there were many greater teachers, such as Gongtan Jambayang, and he was met Longde Lama Rinpoche, who was in Central Tibet, and whenever Longde Lama Rinpoche gives Tantra teaching, most time spent with the Lamrim teacher. Whenever he gives empowerment, it's not started explanation with Tantra, but with the Lamrim. So after that, Gongtan Jambayang returned to home in Amdo, and he said, the Longde Lama Rinpoche's way of teaching is wonderful, because the real meaning of Tantra can only produce from the proper practice of Lamrim. So therefore, Longde Lama Rinpoche emphasized so much with the Lamrim. So that was really courage to do. So he extremely pleased. However, all of us are very greedy to achieve something important, something fruitful, and something excellent. But it is not possible. For example, if you want to have a very good view from the high building, and you must, even you use lift, but you must go in the lift and one by one up to the 100th floor, wherever, but without going through all these levels, just immediately jump to the highest level. It is not possible. So therefore, we need to start from the from the fundament. So now we need to analyze our fundamental state. Our fundamental state is, generally speaking, most of us very much diluted, and always whatever thoughts or whatever concepts coming into our mind, we just follow. We are not even try to stop it. So that means always we are become slave of our delusions. From the delusion, of course, there are so many kinds of delusions, but mainly disturbance, mainly disturbance coming from the three poisons, which are, what's the name of ignorance, hatred, and attachment. Especially attachment and hatred are very obviously disturb us out of ignorance. So therefore, as long as that we could not put under control these delusions, we will be no free. We have no freedom in order to practice bodhicitta, because bodhicitta is engaged with the, or maybe better say, based on the equality toward the all sentient beings. And hatred and attachment disturb us or influence us, that we are either, actually both, toward the certain group of people regarded as our best friend, our relatives or whatever, and then through the hatred, that other way around, and a certain group of people denied toward a certain group of people, and we don't want even to see them. So this kind of unequal, unbalanced mental state, we have no chance to not even think about bodhicitta. We are born as human beings, and we are born not further disturb the human sisters and brothers, because the human nature of human beings are in fact very much connected or very much based on loving kindness. The sign of this, we can see whether you have so much very strong tendencies to have loving kindness from the other, or never mind, a good number of people can also be hated to me. I can accept that. Or some of them kind to me, that will be also nice. It's not correct, right? Everybody, without exception, looking forward and want to having harmonious, having kind from the other. So this is our real nature. And if we do against this, what kind of human being that we are? Our conventional behavior is just being egoistic and self-centered, and never mind whether I disturb others or neglect or whatever. That's really nonsense. If you think very carefully, we will know by self. In fact, we don't need any teaching on that. We only need to think carefully about ourselves. We need only harmonious, and harmonious with all human sisters and brothers, without exception. In our conventional way of thinking, some of us thinking, I have a certain character that I always have a certain feeling, disabled for everything, can't do better, and can't to change or whatever. And then other people's this is my character, and mostly, more or less our conventional way of communication, based on very, very powerful, very strong, and strict toward others. This is my nature. So this kind of perceptions are totally wrong. Because if you think of this, we just set up certain framework or certain style of our attitude, and these people has right at the beginning don't want to learn, don't want to change, don't want to practice, or even not test whether it will be good or not if I change. So once again, these people include myself. If I think this is the way, I don't want to change. I'm not interested to change, to become a good human being. So then, for me, if I think this way, for me, I have no Buddhahood. I have no way to think about bodhicitta, no way to think about become better human being. We are regarded of our human existence is very precious, and that doesn't mean the body parts which are flesh and bones and blood and all these things. These are not at all precious, but precious means we have tremendous good chance to become better human beings. And on the basis of good human beings, better human beings, so that we can build up step by step, and after a long time after, we may generate bodhicitta. It's a long way to go, unfortunately. If we stay this pattern with this pattern. But if we change, that we can, then we will be achieve bodhicitta fairly soon, in the near future, fairly soon. As I mentioned earlier, some days ago, no one possesses or no one holding the Buddhahood, no one present as Buddhahood, but we ourselves need to get it, and generate it by ourselves. We need to produce our future. No one give voluntarily. Because of this reason, we need to do propitiated practice, which is Dhamma practice. And when I'm talking about Dhamma practice, I'm never ever talking about that we need to do meditation, that we recite sadhanas or some prayers or accumulate the mantras or so. But we need to practice Dhamma. As Dhamma said, maybe I'll repeat later, but maybe not. It depends on so if I say we need to Dhamma practice, that means we need to change by ourselves, our mental state, our attitude, our way of thinking. This is Dhamma practice. This Dhamma practice can only be done during the days and nights. Nothing to do with prayers, recitation, making offerings, whatever. It's nothing to do. These are the additional practice, but not the main practice. Main practice we can do is only 24 hours time. During our working days, during our communicate, or within, and during the parties especially, and the meeting with people, working with people, you are studying with school or college or wherever, and you're doing by business, and business lunch, and during this time, it's the best time to practice Dhamma. I think one time, Kadamba Master Dhamma, he visited one of his students, and this student is doing mandala offerings, and then Dhamma asked him, "What are you doing?" "So I'm doing some accumulation of mandala offerings." "Oh, that's wonderful. But what about doing some practice of Dhamma?" And then he thought, "Oh, this just accumulation of mandala will be not right." So then he changed his program and just meditated. And then, after some days or whenever, Dhamma appears again and asks him, "What are you doing?" So yes, I'm meditation. Oh, one day Dhamma said, "Oh, that's wonderful. But what about some Dhamma practice?" And then, and so on, several times. And then at the end, he was a little bit, how should I say, surprised or puzzled. And asked, "How should I do Dhamma practice?" "Watch your mind," said Dhamma. So therefore, we need to watch ourselves, our mind, which way we are thinking, which way we are talking, communicating, and what kind of physical action shown to the others. These are the Dhamma practice. So Dhamma practice means correction, correct your mind. Correct your mind. And all recitation offerings and whatever, these are maybe sometime, somewhere influenced positively, but it wouldn't be affected immediately. Immediately can only affect it when we are thinking through the correct way of thinking, remove the wrong thinking. That's Dhamma practice. I'm sure many of you or some of you heard from Dalai Lama. He has to practice because of what's the name of that? Commitment. He recited and meditated 8 different kinds of sadhanas every day. But he says, through this process, I never experienced that I become better human being. I only can change my mind through the lojong and bodhicitta and emptiness. These are the really effective practice for him. So, the thinking lojong way, thinking and searching or analysis about the absolute state, which is emptiness, is for us most powerful remedy to reduce our defilements, and for the long run, of course, to remove and purify all the defilements. So therefore, at the end, main practice really practices communication with other people. Of course, the communication with other people with a better way and the correct way. No, not harming the others, but produce harmonies. So this is the Dhamma practice. Many of us thinking that for the time being, I have not much time to do practice, but after my retirement or whenever I get some holidays, so then I'll do practice properly. That's absolute wrong thinking. Because as I mentioned earlier, we all have, never mind whether you are working or you are with employed or without employment, we all have 24 hours time, equally. So this 24 hours time, we can use it. So therefore, if we don't think about, if we're not concerned about benefit for the others, even 5 minutes or even 1 minute, we wasted our life, even 1 minute. If we don't think about 5 minutes long, we waste our life in the 5 minutes long. Many of us, some of us can live maybe 30, 40, 50 years long from now onward. Some of them maybe few hours, one never knows. So however, our life, our time is running and to end. So therefore we need to concern. And as long as we are alive, we need to be good human being and use benefit for ourselves and for others. We are not permitted to waste our time. Our future life, our life is designed that we need to follow according to cause and condition. Both, if I may use, negative way and positive way. Negative way in the sense of uninterrupted suffering in the samsara, positive way in the samsara, free from the samsara. So that means Four Noble Truth. So we need to understand that, and if we when we understand properly our karma system, one's own karma system, then of course we will be really we can produce great interest by ourselves for our future. Bodhicitta is very okay, never mind. So that much for the as a short Lamrim summary. And